Working night shifts at Walmart isn't exactly a dream job, but it pays the bills. I've been at this supercenter in Indiana for nearly 3 years. It's routine, fluorescent lights humming, the distant echo of carts, and the occasional intercom breaking the silence. It's quiet, almost too quiet sometimes. But what happened one Wednesday night wasn't routine. It's the kind of night I wish I could forget. It was a slow shift. Few customers. The kind of night where the whole store feels like it's holding its breath. I was at register 7, counting down the minutes to clock out. 11 p.m. couldn't come fast enough. That's when she walked in. Middle-aged. Pale. Hair hanging over her face like a curtain. She clutched this oversized black purse like her life depended on it. Faded gray coat. No eye contact. At first glance, nothing seemed strange. But her walk, it was off. Each step was deliberate, almost calculated. Like she was walking in a place she wasn't supposed to be. She wandered the store for nearly 15 minutes, no cart, no list. Just gliding through aisles like she was looking for something that might not exist anymore. Eventually, she came to my register with 4 items. A red candle. A box of salt. A roll of black thread. And this old, crumbling book. No title. Cracked leather cover, yellowed pages, the kind of thing you'd expect to find in a locked box in someone's attic. I ran. I glanced at her. Nothing. Just those vacant, sunken eyes staring straight through me. She handed me a wrinkled 20. Her fingers brushed mine, cold, like she'd been standing in the snow for hours. I said, have a good night. She said nothing. Just took her bag and drifted out the sliding doors. A few minutes later, I went to close out my register. But something felt off. There was no receipt for her transaction. Not in the drawer. Not in the system. It was like the sale never happened. I called Tom, our night manager. He grumbled, but we checked the security footage. What we saw chilled me to the core. There I was, scanning items, handing back change, talking. But there was no customer. No woman. No items. No transaction. I was alone. Tom gave me this weird look. Said I might be overworked. Maybe I was. But I know what I felt. I touched her hand. I smelled the candle wax. That old book had weight. She was real. Wasn't she? I couldn't sleep that night. Her face haunted me, those lifeless eyes burned into my brain. The way she moved. The way the air got cold when she passed. The next morning, I did something I never do. I Googled the items she bought. Salt. Red candle. Black thread. Grimoire. It wasn't just a weird grocery list. It was everything you'd need for a summoning ritual. A doorway. A portal to the other side. That book. A spell book. Ancient, forbidden stuff. The kind of thing you don't even find on eBay. That's when I knew she wasn't just odd. She wasn't supposed to be there. 2 nights later, she came back. Same time, close to midnight. But this time she didn't have a cart. She just stood there, way down near the pharmacy, half in shadow. Watching me. I froze. My stomach turned. I turned to call Tom. When I looked back, she was gone. Like she had never been there. Weeks passed. Halloween was around the corner. I tried to shake it off. Tell myself it was a dream, or stress, or both. Then came aisle 13. It was a regular Tuesday. I was stocking candles and photo frames. That aisle's tucked in the far corner of the store, quiet, out of camera view. I was alone. That's when I felt it again, like someone was behind me. I turned, expecting a coworker, Marcus maybe, or Linda. Nothing. But out of the corner of my eye, I saw it. Movement. Just a blur. But fast. Too fast to be human. I followed it. I don't know why. Curiosity. Or maybe something stronger. At the end of the aisle, the lights began to flicker. One by one, buzzing out. I heard something. A low, humming sound. Like a voice, deep underwater. And then, I saw her again. Not walking this time. Just standing. Facing the wall. Whispering. To no one. I said, ma'am, are you okay? She turned slowly. Her face was hollow. Eyes black. Lips cracked open. Asterisk asterisk it's open now, asterisk asterisk, she whispered. And vanished. I don't mean she ran. I mean, she blinked out of existence. Gone. They didn't believe me. Of course they didn't. No footage. No evidence. Just me and my story. Marcus thought I was on something. Linda offered a therapist number. I quit 2 weeks later. But sometimes, when I pass by a Walmart parking lot, especially at night, I still feel it. Like someone's watching me from just beyond the sliding doors. And on the rare nights I dream, I see aisle 13. But it's not just an aisle anymore. It's a doorway. And she's still there. Waiting for the next night shift. You think when something horrifying happens, something supernatural, it just ends. Like a movie. The credits roll. The demon goes back to hell. The cursed object gets buried. The store closes down. But that's not how it works. I left Walmart. Changed cities. Started a new job at a used bookstore 2 counties over. Quiet place. No aisles. No fluorescent lights. But no matter how far I moved. My first week at the new job was calm. Peaceful even. Dusty shelves. Old paper smell. The only sound was the occasional bell over the door. But on Friday, right around closing, I heard something that turned my blood cold. A buzz. Not just any buzz. That same flickering, broken fluorescent hum from Walmart. The one I hadn't heard since that night. It was coming from the back room. I grabbed a flashlight, heart pounding. Walked toward the noise. And right as I stepped through the doorway, silence. The bulb above me popped. Dead. And on the concrete floor was a single red candle. Half melt. I didn't tell anyone. How could I? But the next morning, I noticed something else on my coat. A thin black thread, wrapped around the left sleeve 3 times. Just like in that summoning ritual I researched. The one that used thread to bind things. Or people. I tried to throw it away. Burn it. Flush it. It kept coming back. Once in my glove box. Once under my pillow. Once in my mouth when I woke up choking at 3 a.m. Something wasn't haunting the store anymore. It was haunting me. A week later, I started getting phone calls. Always at 1:13 a.m. Always from unknown number. I never answered. Until I did. Hello. Static. Then, breathing. Slow, ragged. Wet. Then a voice I'll never forget. It's still open. Click. I tried to block the number, but it never showed in my call log. Like it didn't exist. But I could feel it. Whatever door she opened in aisle 13, it wasn't closed. Not even close. One night, while locking up the bookstore, I saw her again. Across the street. Under a flickering street lamp. Same gray coat. Same black purse. Just standing there. Head tilted. Watching. I blinked. She was gone. That's when the dreams started. They weren't just nightmares. They were memories. But not mine. I saw her face in the mirror. Felt her fingers light the candle. Heard the whispers. Let me in. Every night, I woke up screaming. Thread tangled in my sheets. Salt crusted on my windowsill. I wasn't sleeping anymore. I was remembering her. I started digging. Went back through old newspaper clippings. Obscure forums. Occult archives. Turns out, I wasn't the first. Back in 1997, a woman named Clarissa Vale vanished after working a night shift at a different Walmart, 1 state over. She was last seen in, guess where? Aisle 13. Coworkers claimed she started bringing weird books to work. Talking to herself. Said she believed the store was built over a thin place. A spot where our world touches something else. She disappeared. No trace. No suspects. Until a year later. Another worker saw her. She looked exactly the same. Didn't age. Didn't blink. I found a ritual online. A way to seal the door. To break the thread. It needed 3 things. A mirror from the place where you saw her. A thread bound in salt. And fire. I gathered everything. Took it back to that Walmart, yeah, the Walmart, at 2 a.m. I broke in through the garden entrance. Heart racing. Found aisle 13. Empty. Cold. I lit the candle. Wrapped the thread. Looked into the mirror. And there she was. standing behind me. No reflection, just her shadow in the mirror. I didn't turn around. I just dropped the mirror and set the thread on fire. She screamed, a sound that wasn't human. The lights shattered. Alarms blared. Then, silence. They said the fire alarm was a system error. That nothing was damaged. But I know what I saw. And since that night, no more thread. No more calls. No more woman. I think I sealed it. Maybe. But here's the thing about thin places. They wear down. Slowly. And Walmart. They're building another one. Right off I-74. Same blueprint. Same design. Same aisles. And I can't stop thinking. What happens when someone scans $13.13 again? What happens when someone lights a candle on aisle 13? What happens when she comes back? Because doors don't stay closed forever. Some stories don't end. They just change narrators. You think you've outrun the past. Close the door. Burn the thread. But what if you were never the one telling the story? What if the moment you looked into that mirror, the story changed hands? Because now, I'm not watching her anymore. She's watching me. And this time, it's her turn. It started small. I'd walk past mirrors, and my reflection would blink just a second too late. My shadow would move, slower than me. Like it was dragging something. People stopped recognizing me. Literally. A barista I'd known for months asked if I was new in town. My own mother called and said, "Sorry, I think you have the wrong number." I checked my ID. My face was different. Not totally. Not drastically. But, wrong. Like I was an imitation of myself. A copy that wasn't finished. Then came the new guy at work. His name was Jordan. Nice enough. Clean cut. Polite. He started his first shift last Tuesday. I showed him around the shop. He asked if we had a horror section. I laughed. That's when he asked me something weird. "Hey, do you believe people can switch places with something else?" I froze. Asked what he meant. He just smiled. Never mind. But I saw the way he looked at me. Like he didn't see a coworker. Like he saw something trying really hard to pretend to be one. That night, every light bulb in my apartment flickered, then went out. All at once. Even my phone screen. Even my laptop. Darkness. Except the hallway light. It flickered once, buzzed like a dying fly, then stayed on. I walked toward it. Slowly. Felt like I was moving through syrup. And at the end of the hallway, a mirror. Not mine. Just there. Leaning against the wall like it had always belonged. And in it, her. But this time, she wasn't moving. I was. I was inside the glass. Since that night, everything's felt reversed. Left feels like right. Hot water runs cold. My reflection sometimes mouths different words than I speak. I looked back through my journals. My notes from the first encounter. My research. And something was missing. All the mirrors. Every photo I took in at Walmart. Every diagram of the ritual. Not a single reflective surface. I thought I sealed the door. But maybe. I just walked through it. Maybe that wasn't a ceiling. Maybe it was an exchange. Jordan didn't show up to work yesterday. But he left a sticky note on my locker. Just 2 words, scribbled in shaky handwriting. Don't mirror. At first, I thought it was nonsense. But when I got home, I covered every mirror in my apartment with cloth. Even my phone screen. I taped over the front-facing camera. And for a few days, things were better. No voices. No shadows. No reversed feelings. Until I woke up this morning. And all the cloth was gone. I finally worked up the nerve to visit that Walmart again. But it was gone. Empty lot. Chain link fence. Torn up concrete. I asked around. No one remembered the store even being there. Not employees. Not neighbors. Not Google Maps. It's like it never existed. But in the middle of the lot was a single, upright mirror. No frame. Just standing there, untouched. And scrawled into the dust at the base, with what looked like a fingernail. Aisle 13 never ends. I'm not sure how much longer I can hold this together. Some days I wake up and my teeth are too sharp. Other days, I blink and I'm somewhere else. But the worst part? Sometimes, in quiet moments, I hear her. Let me finish. I think the ritual was only halfway complete. I looked into the mirror. She saw me. I lit the thread. She burned. But now, she's inside, clawing to get back out. And maybe the only way to stop her is to find someone else to take my place. They say when something crosses over, something else has to take its place. Balance. Exchange. One in, one out. I never believed in any of that. Not until I met her. She said her name was Mara. Worked the night shift at a bookstore, always avoided her reflection, and never walked past dark windows. At first, I thought she was paranoid. Now I can't find her anywhere. But I keep seeing her face in every mirror I pass. And the worst part? Sometimes, she smiles. I met Mara at a bus stop. 3:17 a.m., raining, nothing open for miles. She sat 2 benches over, hoodie pulled low, hands twitching like she hadn't slept in weeks. She asked me for the time. But as I checked my phone, she flinched. Like just looking at the screen burned her. I laughed nervously. You good? She didn't answer at first. Then she whispered. They watched through the glass. I thought she was just unwell. But that night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. Like she'd crawled into the back of my head. And stayed there. It started the next day. I caught a glimpse of her face in my bathroom mirror. Just for a second. I turned around, no one there. Then the grocery store freezer section, reflection of a woman in the glass. Her eyes were mine. Then the windows on the train. The rearview mirror in my car. Every reflection I saw was her. Not like a ghost. Like someone wearing my skin. Better. Cleaner. And every time, she was a little closer to the glass. I went looking for her. Asked around at local bookstores. Late night shops. Finally found one that recognized her name. She worked here. For a while, the owner said. Quiet. Kept to herself. He gave me a box she'd left behind. Inside, just a few crumpled receipts and a leather notebook. I read it cover to cover that night. Mostly nonsense. But one sentence was scratched into the final page over and over. I thought I was watching her, but she was learning me. That night, I broke every mirror in my apartment. Smashed the TV screen. Covered the windows with black cloth. But it didn't help. Because now, I can see her in reflections of water. A puddle. A teacup. Even my eyes, if I look too long in the mirror, they shift. Change color. Blink wrong. She's still there. Still inside. But she's not hiding anymore. She's waiting. And I think she's getting stronger. I found a forum, old, buried, forgotten, where someone mentioned the thread ritual. Walmart. Aisle 13. Mirrors. Fire. All of it. They said the ritual doesn't banish the entity. It hands it off. Each time, it wears a new face. Walks in a new skin. Leaves someone else behind in the glass. They said if you see her reflection too many times, you've already been chosen. Not to stop her, but to replace her. Scene 6, her voice, 8:01 to 9:10. Last night, she spoke to me. Not out loud, through my voice. I heard myself whisper, "Let me out." I wasn't speaking. But my mouth was moving. My lips weren't mine. I tried not to sleep. But I woke up with blood on my sheets. Mirror shards in my hands. A sentence scratched into the wall above my bed. It's your turn now. Mara's gone. I can't find her anywhere. No phone number. No ID. It's like she was never real. But I know she was. Because I can still feel her watching. Waiting. And tonight, I caught my reflection smiling at me. Not a tired smile. Not a sad one. But a relieved one. Because now, she's free. And I'm the one trapped behind the glass. They always say, don't break a mirror. 7 years of bad luck. But they never say what happens when you're the one broken inside it. I used to be someone. Name, job, home, memories. Now I'm not sure if any of that was ever real. Because something else is living my life. And I'm stuck on the other side, screaming through glass. I don't know how long I've been here. Time doesn't move in this place. Not really. It flickers. Like static. Like an old VHS on repeat. Sometimes I watch her, the version of me that got out. She walks around in my body. Uses my voice. Even wears my favorite sweater. But she moves differently. Smiles more. Talks slower. Like she's still figuring out how to be human. And no one notices. Not my coworkers. Not my friends. Not even my mother. I keep finding new cracks. They don't belong to a mirror or a screen. They're in the world. Hairline fractures in doorways. In windows. In people's eyes when they blink. I think the barrier is weakening. Which should be good, right? But it's not. Because others are watching now. Reflections I don't recognize. Faces with no mouths. Eyes that move before the head does. Some look almost human. Some don't. Scene 3, the sound of shattering, 3:31 to 5 o'clock. I heard it 2 nights ago. The sound of glass breaking, but from inside my ears. Not outside. Like something cracked inside my head. After that, things got worse. I can't sleep. Because when I do, I dream in reflections. I wake up drenched, breath fogging up invisible glass, palms flat against a surface I can't break. And every time, she's standing there. On the other side. Watching. Smiling. My best friend called me. She said, "Hey, are you okay? You seemed off yesterday." I said, "I haven't seen you in weeks." She paused. "I had lunch with you yesterday," she said. "You kept asking weird questions about mirrors. And you kept staring at your own hands." I asked what else I did. There was silence on the line. Then she whispered, "Your eyes weren't right." Scene 5, back to aisle 13, 6:31 to 8 o'clock. I went back. To the same Walmart. Same time, 3:33 a.m. Aisle 13. Same cracked mirror. Same burnt scent in the air. Same cold. I waited. She didn't come. But they did. Dozens of them. Reflections crawling out of every polished surface. Some walked backward. Some crawled like spiders. Some didn't move at all, they just watched. I didn't run. I just whispered. "Take me back." And the cracked mirror pulsed. Like it was breathing. Then it shattered, outwa. I woke up in a different body. A child's. Looking out through eyes that weren't mine. I was in a bedroom filled with stuffed animals and fairy lights. Someone knocked on the door. "Sweetie. You okay?" a woman's voice asked. My mouth opened, but the words didn't come from me. A voice that wasn't mine said, "Yeah, Mom." Just looking in the mirror. And in the glass across the room. My real face was still trapped. Mouth moving. Screaming. Unheard. The mirror world doesn't keep you forever. It just uses you. Until someone else is willing to trade places. Or until it finds a better version of you. And once it does, you become the echo. Just another face in the glass. Waiting for someone to stare too long. Waiting for the next crack. Waiting for you. I don't leave reviews. Not for food, not for rideshares, definitely not for Airbnbs. But this time, I need to warn someone. Because what I experienced in that house, it wasn't just creepy. It wasn't bad lighting or weird smells or no hot water. This place had a presence. And I think it followed me home. It looked fine in the photos. Small 2-bedroom cottage. Quaint. Remote and quiet, perfect for solo retreats. A little rustic, but clean. The host's profile had no picture. Just a name, R. All 5-star reviews. Except one. A single 1-star buried at the bottom. No comment. Just the rating. I should have listened to that silence. But I booked it anyway. Needed a weekend away. Somewhere offline. The key was under the mat. No welcome note. No Wi-Fi. No TV. Just old furniture, heavy curtains, and the sound of the wind. First weird thing. All the mirrors were covered with thick, gray sheets. Every single one. In the bathroom, the hallway, even above the fireplace. At first, I thought, superstitious owner. Or just paranoid. But the coverings weren't decorative. They were taped down. Sealed. I left them alone. That was my second mistake. The power flickered that night. Not like an outage, more like the house was breathing. Lights would dim in a slow rhythm. Hums in the walls. Pulsing. I went to the basement to check the fuse box. That's when I found it. A mirror, not covered. Tall. Dusty. Set into the far wall like it had been built there. But the reflection. It was off. Not reversed. Not warped. Just off. I looked older in it. Gaunt. Tired in a way I didn't recognize. And behind me, something moved. I turned. Nothing. When I looked back, my reflection didn't move. It just stared. Smiling. That night, I heard footsteps upstairs. I was sleeping on the couch. The second bedroom was locked from the outside when I got there. I assumed it was storage. But now, something was inside. I heard it walking. Then whispering. Not in English. Not in any language I knew. Just low, wet murmurs like someone praying with marbles in their mouth. Then a knock. 3 slow knocks on the inside of the locked bedroom door. I didn't open it. I should have left right then. I searched the host's name online. Found nothing. But I reverse image searched the house. Eventually, I found an old blog post. Different name. Same house. Same layout. But it wasn't listed as a rental back then. It was part of a police investigation. A man went missing in that house in 2009. Left behind a journal filled with pages that just said, "It's not a house. It's a mouth. It chews slowly. Don't look at yourself too long. Don't stay for the third NI." I made it 2 nights. I didn't sleep either of them. On the second night, I heard someone come down the stairs. Heavy steps. Not like a person walking. More like someone dragging themselves one limb at a time. I locked myself in the bathroom. But the mirror in there. The one I hadn't uncovered. It was uncovered now. The sheet lay folded on the sink. My reflection was waiting. Smiling wider than should have been possible. It reached up with a hand I didn't move. And wrote in the fog. "You're mine now." I don't remember how I got out. I woke up in my car. Engine off. Keys in my lap. 30 miles away. No gas. Northwest memory of the road. But something followed me. Now, every mirror in my apartment. Something's wrong with them. And last night, I caught my reflection blinking when I didn't. I didn't believe in ghosts. Not until my mom died. Even then, I chalked it up to grief. Stress. Lack of sleep. But what started happening wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just morning. Because someone, or something, kept calling me. From my mom's old number. And she'd been dead for 6 months. It was a Thursday. Middle of the day. I was at work. The phone buzzed, MOM red heart. I froze. She'd had that number for 10 years. I hadn't deleted it. Couldn't bring myself to. I answered without thinking. Silence. No static. No voice. Just breath. Not panicked. Not scared. Just slow. Ragged. Familiar. I hung up. Convinced it was a glitch. But then it called again. After the third missed call, it left a voicemail. I played it alone in my apartment. It started normal. Like old recordings she used to leave. "Hi honey, it's me." But then the tone dropped. Her voice cracked, like it was coming from far away. "Where are you? It's cold here. Why won't you answer?" My hands were shaking. I replayed it 3 times. And each time, the message got longer. Like it was still recording, still speaking, from somewhere else. I called the phone company. Asked if a number can glitch like that. If a disconnected line can redial or leave a message. The tech guy got real quiet. Then he said something I'll never forget. "That number's not in use anymore. It's been reassigned. There's no record of any calls made to or from your phone that day." He even emailed me a screenshot. It showed nothing. No call logs. No voicemails. Like it had never happened. But I still had the message saved. And her voice sounded closer. I set my phone to auto-record every incoming call. Didn't matter the number. I needed proof. Over the next 3 days, I got 5 more calls. All from different area codes. Different names. Burners. Unknowns. But every voicemail, it was her. Getting clearer. More desperate. "They won't let me through. You're forgetting me. Don't you love me anymore?" The last message. She was crying. And then she screamed. Not words, just this raw, animal sound. Like her soul was tearing. And underneath the scream. Another voice. Low. Male. Saying. "Stop answering." I visited her grave. Brought my phone. Played the voicemails out loud. Begged her to stop. "I love you," I said. "But if this isn't you, if this is something else, I need you to go." The wind picked up. And behind her headstone, something caught my eye. Half buried in the dirt. A small metal box. Inside. Her old phone. Dead. Caked in mud. But I had buried it with her 6 months ago. I dug it up myself. I know it was in the coffin. I took the box home. Plugged in the phone. It powered on. Wallpaper, a photo of me. One I didn't recognize. Taken in my apartment. From the corner. From the dark. There was only one contact saved. Me. My number. Under the name, Remember Me. The phone's call log. It had been dialing my number every night at 3:14 a.m. Including future dates. Tomorrow. Next week. Next month. I deleted the contact. Factory reset the phone. Smash the SIM. But the calls keep coming. Now from private numbers. Now with no voice at all, just that slow, wet breathing. I stopped answering. But I can't throw the phone away. Because if I do, if I forget her, I think I know what happens next. And I don't think the calls will stop. I didn't believe in ghosts. I used to roll my eyes at those paranormal shows. Talk to the dead. Yeah, okay. But then my mom died. And I started getting phone calls. From her number. She'd been gone 6 months. Buried. I watched them lower the casket. I gave the eulogy. So explain this. Why did her name light up my screen again? It was a random Thursday. Just after lunch. I was sitting at my desk in a gray office, doing the same dull data entry I always did. My phone buzzed. Caller ID, MOM red heart. I froze. Not mom. Not a random number. MOM. Heart emoji. Her name was still saved. I couldn't bring myself to delete it after she passed. I told myself it was sentimental. But now it was something else. I picked it up. Hello. Nothing. No voice. No static. Just slow, steady breathing. It sounded close. I hung up. Tried to laugh it off. Spam. Glitch. My imagination. Until it rang again. By the third missed call, I let it go to voicemail. Later that night, sitting alone in my apartment, I hit play. Hi, honey, it's me. Her voice. It was her. But something was wrong. She sounded distant. Like she was speaking through a vent or a tunnel. It's cold here. Why won't you answer? The voicemail was just 15 seconds. I played it again. And again. But each time, it got longer. Like it was still recording. Still talking. And I swear, her voice sounded closer. The next day, I called my carrier. I gave them the number. Asked if it was possible for a disconnected line to make calls. The guy on the other end was chill until he checked. That number isn't in use anymore, he said. It's been reassigned. Okay, then how was it calling me? He paused. Then added. We don't have any call logs from that number to yours. Or from yours to it. He even emailed me proof. Blank. No record of anything. But I still had the voicemail. And that breathing was louder now. I downloaded a call recording app. Set it to auto-record anything that came through. Over the next 3 nights, I got 5 more calls. Different numbers. Blocked. Spoofed. But every voicemail. It was her. And she sounded like she was running out of time. They won't let me through. You're forgetting me. Please, answer. The last message. She wasn't talking anymore. She was sobbing. Then screaming. And under the scream, barely audible. A man's voice. Stop answering. I went to her grave. Middle of the day. It felt stupid, but I did it anyway. I played the messages out loud. I love you, Mom. But this isn't you. If it is, let go. Please. The wind kicked up. Something rustled behind the headstone. I found a small, rusted metal box. Half buried. Inside. Her old phone. Dead. Muddy. But I buried it with her. I remember. I even placed it in the casket myself. She always said she'd feel naked without it. So how the hell was it here? I brought the phone home. Plugged it in. It powered on. Battery at 3%. The wallpaper was a photo. Of me. Sitting on my couch. Taken from the corner of the room. A corner I never go near. There was only one contact saved in the phone. My number. Saved as. Remember Me. The call log. It had been dialing my number every night. At exactly 3:14 a.m. Not just in the past. Future dates, too. Tomorrow. Next week. Next month. I factory reset the phone. Deleted the contact. Crushed the SIM card. Burned the box. But the calls keep coming. Now from private numbers. Now with no voice at all. Just that slow, wet breathing. I stopped answering. But I still check every night. At 3:14 a.m., my phone lights up. Unknown. And sometimes, when I let it ring, I hear a whisper. You forgot me. And I know this much. If I ever forget her completely, if I ever block the number, she won't be the only one buried. A few days after I destroyed the phone and the box, my own phone rang again. Private number. I almost didn't answer. But something in me couldn't resist. This time, a voice, not Mom's, but a man's, came through. Stop digging, he said, calm but cold. Some doors shouldn't be opened. My heart stopped. I asked who he was. No answer. Just a click. I tried calling back. Number disconnected. That same night, I heard noises in my apartment. Soft tapping at the window. I live on the 7th floor. No one should be outside. I pulled back the curtain. Nothing. Just darkness. But the tapping continued, inside the glass. Then a whisper, faint but clear. Remember me. I backed away, heart pounding. The lights flickered. My phone buzzed, 3:14 a.m. A message from Mom's old number. Don't forget me. I couldn't take it anymore. I started digging through her things. In a drawer, I found a diary. It wasn't hers, it was mine. But the entries were from months ago, before I even knew the calls would start. Lines like, I feel watched. There's something in the phone. If you find this, don't answer the calls. I don't remember writing any of it. But the handwriting was mine. The calls keep coming. Every night. Every 3:14 a.m. I'm scared. Not for me, for her. For whatever's trapped between us. I'm caught between love and fear. Answer and risk losing myself. Ignore and risk losing her forever. I don't know what's worse. But one thing is clear. This isn't over. And maybe it never will be. I never believed in ghosts. Not until my mom died. Even then, I told myself it was grief. Stress. Sleepless nights. But what started happening wasn't just in my head. It wasn't just mourning. Because someone, or something, kept calling me. From my mom's old phone number. The same number I never deleted, even 6 months after she was gone. It was a Thursday afternoon. I was at work when my phone buzzed. The caller ID flashed, MOM red heart. My heart stopped. I'd saved that number years ago, her number. I never deleted it. Couldn't. Without thinking, I answered. Silence. No static, no voice, just breath. Slow. Ragged. Familiar. Not scared. Not panicked. Just there. I hung up, telling myself it was a glitch. But then it called again. After the third missed call, it left a voicemail. I sat alone in my apartment and played it. At first, it sounded like her old messages. Hi honey, it's me. But then her voice cracked, distant and broken. Where are you? It's cold here. Why won't you answer? My hands trembled. I replayed it 3 times. Each time, the message grew longer, like she was still talking, somewhere far away. I called the phone company. Asked if a disconnected number could glitch like that. If it could call or leave messages. The technician went quiet. Then said something I'll never forget. That number's no longer in use. It's been reassigned. There are no call logs for your phone on those days. He even emailed me a screenshot. Nothing. No record of calls or voicemails. Like it never happened. But I still had the message saved. And her voice sounded closer than ever. I set my phone to auto-record every incoming call. No matter who called. I needed proof. Over the next 3 days, 5 more calls came. All from unknown numbers, different area codes. Burner phones. But every voicemail was her. Clearer. More desperate. They won't let me through. You're forgetting me. Don't you love me anymore? The last message, she was crying. Then she screamed. Not words, just a raw, animalistic sound, like her soul was tearing apart. And beneath the scream, a low male voice whispered. Stop answering. I went to her grave. Brought my phone. Played the voicemails out loud. Please stop, I begged. I love you. But if this isn't you, if it's something else, I need you to go. The wind picked up suddenly. Then, behind her headstone, something caught my eye. A small metal box, half buried in the dirt. Inside was her old phone. Caked in mud. Dead. But I had buried it with her 6 months ago. I had dug the grave myself. I know it was inside the coffin. I took the box home. Plugged the phone in. It powered on. The wallpaper was a photo of me. One I didn't recognize, taken inside my apartment, from the dark corner. There was only one contact saved, me. Under the name, Remember Me. The call log showed calls to my number every night at 3:14 a.m. Including dates in the future. Tomorrow. Next week. Next month. I deleted the contact. Factory reset the phone. Smashed the SIM card. But the calls keep coming. Now from private numbers. No voice. Just slow, wet breathing. I stopped answering. But I can't throw the phone away. Because if I do, if I forget her, I think I know what happens next. And I don't think the calls will ever stop. Working nights at Walmart isn't exciting. But it has its perks. Fewer customers. Less noise. It's just me, the soft hum of the freezers, and the occasional beep from the self-checkout. I've been at this Indiana supercenter for years now. I know the regulars. The insomniacs. The truckers grabbing coffee at 2 a.m. But every so often, someone comes in who doesn't belong. That Wednesday night was one of those times. It was after 10. The store was nearly empty. I was at register 7, drinking cold coffee, thinking about my warm bed. That's when I saw her. She stepped in through the sliding doors like the air had pushed her forward. Middle-aged. Skin almost gray. Hair falling in greasy ropes over her face. She carried a black leather purse, too big, like it could have held a bowling ball. Her coat was frayed at the sleeves, patches stitched in mismatched thread. She didn't make eye contact. Didn't grab a cart. Just glided. She wandered the store for 15 minutes. No rhyme or reason to where she went, just drifting. Eventually, she came to my register. She placed 4 items on the belt. A single red candle. A box of salt. A roll of black thread. And a book. It wasn't a Walmart book. It was old, real old. No title. Leather cracked and peeling. Pages curled yellow with age. I scanned the items. The register beeped and displayed $13.13. She handed me a wrinkled 20. When our hands touched, I shivered, her skin was ice cold. I mumbled, "Have a good night." She didn't answer. Just turned and drifted out. 5 minutes later, I went to close my drawer. But her receipt wasn't there. I checked the register history. No record of the sale. It was like it never happened. I called Tom, the night manager. He followed me to the back office. We pulled the camera footage. On screen, I was standing there, scanning, bagging, handing over change. But there was no one across from me. No candle. No salt. No book. Just me. Alone. Tom squinted at me like I'd lost my mind. "Maybe you need a break," he said. But I knew what I saw. What I touched. That night, I couldn't sleep. So I did what any rational person would do, I Googled the items. Salt. Red candle. Black thread. It wasn't a shopping list. It was the setup for a ritual, something meant to open a doorway. And the book. Everything I found about books like that said the same thing. You don't find them. They find you. That thought alone made my skin crawl. 2 nights later, she came back. Same coat. Same purse. Same dead eyes. She didn't shop. She just stood near the pharmacy, half her face hidden in shadow, watching me. I turned to call Tom. When I looked back, she was gone. I didn't even hear the doors open. After that, weird things started happening. We'd open in the morning and find aisle 13 in disarray, candles knocked over, picture frames shattered. One time, a small pile of salt was in the middle of the floor. No one ever admitted to it. And then there was the smell. It wasn't rot. It wasn't trash. It was old. Stale, like the air inside a sealed attic. You'd turn the corner into aisle 13 and it would hit you like a wall. Tom joked it was bad plumbing. I didn't laugh. It was a Tuesday night when I saw her again. I was stocking candles in aisle 13. The overhead lights flickered once. Then again. then buzzed out, leaving only the glow from the freezer section bleeding into the dark. I froze. A shape moved at the far end. She stepped into the faint light. Not walking, gliding, like her feet didn't quite touch the ground. Her head tilted slightly as if she was listening to something far away. I called out, "Ma'am." She didn't answer. Just turned slowly to face the shelves. Her lips began to move, whispering words that didn't sound like English. A low, humming voice seemed to echo under the floor. Then she turned toward me. Her face was hollow. Her eyes black. Her lips cracked as she whispered, "It's open now." And she vanished. Not ran. Not walked away. Just gone. No one believed me. No cameras caught it. No proof. 2 weeks later, I quit. But here's the thing. I've driven past that Walmart at night, and every time, I feel it. That pressure in my chest. Like someone standing just inside the sliding doors. Watching. And sometimes, when I dream, I see aisle 13. But it's not an aisle anymore. It's a black doorway. And she's still there. Waiting. Working nights at Walmart isn't exciting. But it has its perks. Fewer customers. Less noise. It's just me, the soft hum of the freezers, and the occasional beep from the self-checkout. I've been at this Indiana supercenter for years now. I know the regulars. The insomniacs. The truckers grabbing coffee at 2 a.m. But every so often, someone comes in who doesn't belong. That Wednesday night was one of those times. It was after 10. The store was nearly empty. I was at register 7, drinking cold coffee, thinking about my warm bed. That's when I saw her. She stepped in through the sliding doors like the air had pushed her forward. Middle-aged. Skin almost gray. Hair falling in greasy ropes over her face. She carried a black leather purse, too big, like it could have held a bowling ball. Her coat was frayed at the sleeves, patches stitched in mismatched thread. She didn't make eye contact. Didn't grab a cart. Just glided. She wandered the store for 15 minutes. No rhyme or reason to where she went, just drifting. Eventually, she came to my register. She placed 4 items on the belt. A single red candle. A box of salt. A roll of black thread. And a book. It wasn't a Walmart book. It was old, real old. No title. Leather cracked and peeling. Pages curled yellow with age. I scanned the items. The register beeped and displayed $13.13. She handed me a wrinkled 20. When our hands touched, I shivered, her skin was ice cold. I mumbled, "Have a good night." She didn't answer. Just turned and drifted out. 5 minutes later, I went to close my drawer. But her receipt wasn't there. I checked the register history. No record of the sale. It was like it never happened. I called Tom, the night manager. He followed me to the back office. We pulled the camera footage. On screen, I was standing there, scanning, bagging, handing over change. But there was no one across from me. No candle. No salt. No book. Just me. Alone. Tom squinted at me like I'd lost my mind. "Maybe you need a break," he said. But I knew what I saw. What I touched. That night, I couldn't sleep. So I did what any rational person would do, I Googled the items. Salt. Red candle. Black thread. It wasn't a shopping list. It was the setup for a ritual, something meant to open a doorway. And the book. Everything I found about books like that said the same thing. You don't find them. They find you. That thought alone made my skin crawl. 2 nights later, she came back. Same coat. Same purse. Same dead eyes. She didn't shop. She just stood near the pharmacy, half her face hidden in shadow, watching me. I turned to call Tom. When I looked back, she was gone. I didn't even hear the doors open. After that, weird things started happening. We'd open in the morning and find aisle 13 in disarray, candles knocked over, picture frames shattered. One time, a small pile of salt was in the middle of the floor. No one ever admitted to it. And then there was the smell. It wasn't rot. It wasn't trash. It was old. Stale, like the air inside a sealed attic. You'd turn the corner into aisle 13 and it would hit you like a wall. Tom joked it was bad plumbing. I didn't laugh. It was a Tuesday night when I saw her again. I was stocking candles in aisle 13. The overhead lights flickered once. Then again. Then buzzed out, leaving only the glow from the freezer section bleeding into the dark. I froze. A shape moved at the far end. She stepped into the faint light. Not walking, gliding, like her feet didn't quite touch the ground. Her head tilted slightly as if she was listening to something far away. I called out, "Ma'am." She didn't answer. Just turned slowly to face the shelves. Her lips began to move, whispering words that didn't sound like English. A low, humming voice seemed to echo under the floor. Then she turned toward me. Her face was hollow. Her eyes black. Her lips cracked as she whispered, "It's open now." And she vanished. Not ran. Not walked away. Just gone. No one believed me. No cameras caught it. No proof. 2 weeks later, I quit. But here's the thing. I've driven past that Walmart at night, and every time, I feel it. That pressure in my chest. Like someone's standing just inside the sliding doors. Watching. And sometimes, when I dream, I see aisle 13. But it's not an aisle anymore. It's a black doorway. And she's still there. Waiting. Working nights at Walmart isn't exciting. It's quiet. Fewer customers. Less noise. Just me, the soft hum of the freezers, and the occasional beep from the self-checkout. I've worked at this Indiana supercenter for years. I know the night regulars, the insomniacs buying cereal at midnight, the truckers grabbing coffee at 2 a.m., the teens daring each other to buy condoms. But every once in a while, someone comes in who doesn't belong. And that Wednesday night was one of those times. It was a little after 10. The store was dead quiet. I was at register 7, drinking cold coffee and thinking about my warm bed. That's when she stepped in. She didn't just walk through the sliding doors. It was like the air shoved her forward. Middle-aged. Skin so pale it almost looked gray. Hair falling in greasy ropes over her face. She carried a big black leather purse, so big it could have held a bowling ball. Her coat was frayed at the sleeves, mismatched patches stitched like someone didn't know how to sew. No cart. No basket. No eye contact. She just glided forward. For 15 minutes, she wandered. No pattern. No purpose. Like she was just waiting for the store to breathe. When she finally came to my register, she placed 4 items on the belt. A single red candle. A box of salt. A roll of black thread. And a book. It wasn't a Walmart book. It was old, cracked leather, yellow curling pages, no title. It looked like something you'd find in an attic where the dust has its own smell. I scanned the items. The total came up $13.13. She handed me a wrinkled 20. When our fingers touched, I swear, her skin felt colder than the freezer section. "Have a good night," I mumbled. She didn't answer. She just turned and drifted out. 5 minutes later, I went to close my drawer. But her receipt was gone. I checked the register's transaction history. Nothing. No record of the sale. It was like it never happened. I called Tom, the night manager. He followed me to the back office, and we pulled up the security footage. On screen, there I was. Scanning items, bagging them, handing something across the counter. But there was no one standing across from me. No candle. No salt. No book. Just me, talking to empty space. Tom gave me that look you give a kid who swears they didn't eat the cookies. "Maybe you need a break," he said. But I knew what I saw. I knew what I touched. That night, I couldn't sleep. So I did what any sane person does at 3 a.m. I Googled it. Salt. Red candle. Black thread. Turns out, it's not a grocery list. It's the setup for a ritual, something meant to open a doorway. And the book. Every article said the same thing. You don't find books like that. They find you. That line stuck with me. Made my skin feel too tight. 2 nights later, she came back. Same coat. Same purse. Same dead eyes. She didn't shop. She just stood near the pharmacy, half her face hidden in shadow, watching me. I turned to call Tom. When I looked back, she was gone. Not a sound. Not a door beep. Like she'd been erased. After that, things got weird. We'd open in the morning and find aisle 13 in shambles, candles knocked over, picture frames shattered. One morning, there was a neat little pile of salt in the middle of the floor. No one ever admitted to it. And then came the smell. It wasn't rot. It wasn't trash. It was old. Stale. Like the air inside a sealed trunk. The kind of smell that makes your mouth feel dry. Tom joked it was bad plumbing. I didn't laugh. It was a Tuesday night when I saw her again. I was stocking candles in aisle 13. The overhead lights flickered once. Then again. Then buzzed out, leaving only the faint glow from the freezer section spilling into the dark. I froze. A shape moved at the far end. She stepped into the dim light. Not walking, gliding. Her head tilted like she was listening to something far away. "Ma'am," I called out. She didn't answer. Instead, she turned toward the shelves, her lips moving. Whispering words that didn't sound like any language I'd ever heard. A low, humming vibration seemed to come from under the floor. Then she turned toward me. Her face looked hollow. Her eyes, black. Her lips cracked as she whispered. "It's open now." And then, she was gone. Not walking away. Not fading into shadow. Just gone. No one believed me. The cameras caught nothing. 2 weeks later, I quit. But here's the thing. I've driven past that Walmart at night, and every time, I feel it. That pressure in my chest. Like someone standing just inside the sliding doors. Watching. And sometimes, when I dream, I see aisle 13. But it's not an aisle anymore. It's a black doorway. And she's still there. Waiting. 3 weeks after I quit, I was at a gas station a mile from the Walmart. It was 1:14 a.m. I was paying for coffee when I saw the glow through the window. The Walmart lights. Flickering, like they were struggling to stay alive. I told myself it was just a power surge. But then, the sliding doors opened. No one came out. No one went in. They just opened. And stayed that way. I stood there, holding my coffee, until the cashier asked if I was okay. I told her I was fine. But I couldn't stop staring. 2 nights later, Tom, the night manager, called me. His voice was shaking. "You still live near the store, right?" "Yeah, why?" "I swear I just saw her." I didn't have to ask who he meant. He said she was standing in aisle 13 again. When he called out to her, the lights died. When they came back on, she was closer. Tom hung up before I could say anything. I tried calling him back. No answer. The next morning, I drove by. Tom's car was still in the lot. But I never saw him again. About a week later, I had the dream again. Only this time, I wasn't watching aisle 13. I was standing in it. The shelves were gone. The floor was cracked concrete. The air was heavy, like I was breathing through wet cloth. In front of me, where the candles used to be, was a doorway. Not a normal door. Just a tall, black rectangle. Something was moving inside it. Something tall. Something wrong. And then I heard her voice. Not beside me. Not behind me. Inside my head. "It's open, and it's hungry." I woke up gasping. My pillow was wet with sweat. And my hands were covered in salt. I don't know why I did it. I should have stayed away. But I drove to Walmart. It was 2 a.m. The parking lot was empty, no cars, no carts, no life. The sliding doors opened before I even reached them. Inside, the lights buzzed weakly. Every aisle was perfectly stocked. Except aisle 13. It was empty. Just bare floor. And at the far end, her. She was smiling this time. Her teeth looked too sharp. "You came back," she whispered. I stepped back toward the exit. But behind me, the doors were closed. And they weren't glass anymore. They were black. Like the doorway in my dream. The hum of the freezers was gone. The air felt thick. My ears popped like I was underwater. She started walking toward me. No, gliding. And then I realized she wasn't holding her purse anymore. She was holding the book. The pages were flipping by themselves. Each time they turned, the lights dimmed more. By the time she was close enough to touch me, we were standing in darkness. The kind that swallows everything. And I heard that voice again. Not hers. Something bigger. Something inside the black. One more. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember the drive home. But I haven't slept in 3 nights. Because every time I close my eyes, I'm back there. And the doorway is closer. And I know the next time it opens, I'm not coming back. 3 weeks after I quit Walmart, I stopped at a gas station a mile down the road. It was 1:14 a.m. The clerk was half asleep behind the counter. I grabbed a coffee, burnt, but better than nothing. When I turned toward the window, I saw it. Through the glass, off in the distance, the Walmart lights were flickering. Not like a bulb burning out, but like they were fighting to stay alive. I told myself it was just a power surge. Then the sliding doors opened. No one went in. No one came out. They just opened. And stayed that way. I stood there, coffee in hand, frozen. "You okay?" the clerk asked. I nodded, but my eyes stayed locked on those doors until they finally slid shut, slow, reluctant, like they didn't want to. 2 nights later, my phone rang. Tom, the night manager. I hadn't heard from him since I quit. His voice was shaking. "You still live near the store, right?" "Yeah, why?" "I swear I just saw her." I didn't have to ask who he meant. "She was in aisle 13 again," he said. When I called out to her, the lights went out. And when they came back, she was closer. Then, click. He hung up. I called him back. No answer. The next morning, I drove by the store. Tom's car was still in the lot. But I never saw him again. A week later, I had the dream again. Only this time, I wasn't just watching aisle 13. I was standing in it. The shelves were gone. The floor was cracked concrete. The air was heavy, wet, like trying to breathe through a damp rag. And in front of me, where the candles used to sit, was a doorway. Not a door. Just a tall, black rectangle. Something moved inside it. Something too tall. Too thin. Too wrong. Then I heard her voice. Not beside me. Not behind me. Inside my head. It's open, and it's hungry. I woke up gasping, shirt sticking to me with sweat. And when I sat up, my hands were covered in salt. I don't know why I did it. I should have stayed away. But at 2 a.m., I found myself driving to Walmart. The parking lot was empty. Not even a stray cart. Not a single car. The sliding doors opened before I even stepped on the mat. Inside, every aisle was perfectly stocked. Except aisle 13. It was empty. Just bare, dusty floor. And at the far end, her. She was smiling. Her teeth looked too sharp. "You came back," she whispered. I stepped toward the exit. But behind me, the doors had closed. And they weren't glass anymore. They were black. Like the doorway in my dream. The hum of the freezers was gone. The air felt thick. My ears popped like I'd gone too deep underwater. She glided toward me, her feet not quite touching the floor. And then I saw she wasn't carrying her purse anymore. She was holding the book. The pages turned on their own. Each flip made the lights dim. By the time she reached me, the store was swallowed in darkness. Not regular dark. The kind that feels like it's pulling you in. And that's when I heard it. Not her voice. Something bigger. Something inside the black. One more. I don't remember leaving. I don't remember unlocking my apartment. But I haven't slept in 3 nights. Because every time I close my eyes, I'm back there. And the doorway is closer. And I know. The next time it opens, I'm not coming back. I lasted 3 more nights before breaking. Not because I wanted to sleep, but because my body just gave up. When I woke, it wasn't in my bed. It was in the Walmart parking lot. I was in the driver's seat, car still running, headlights pointed at the building. The sliding doors opened. Slow. Deliberate. And she stepped out. Only, this time, her face wasn't blurred like in my memories. I could see every detail. The stretched skin under her eyes. The corners of her mouth, ripped just enough to hint that her smile could go wider. She didn't walk toward me. She just stood there in the doorway. Waiting. My phone buzzed in the cup holder. It was a number I didn't know. No caller ID. I answered anyway. And all I heard was breathing. Not her breathing. Something heavier. Like air moving through a tunnel. Then a voice, not a whisper this time, but deep enough to rattle my ribs. You've already been chosen. The line went dead. When I looked back at the doors, she was gone. The next day, I tried calling old coworkers. Most didn't answer. One did, Lacey, who worked in electronics. She said they'd stopped hiring for night shifts altogether. The store's been self-closing at 10 p.m. for weeks now, but no one's cleaning or restocking. When she comes in for day shifts, she finds entire aisles rearranged overnight. And last Thursday, she swears she saw salt poured in a perfect circle around aisle 13. No one will touch it. I went to the police. Told them about Tom. Told them about the disappearing woman. They humored me, let me see the store's last security footage from the night Tom vanished. It showed him in aisle 13. Frozen. Book in hand. The lights flickered, and something tall, slid out of the frame's edge. When the lights came back, Tom was gone. The timestamp kept running. No one came in. No one went out. Just empty frames. And aisle 13 slowly going dark. Last night, I woke up standing in my kitchen. Door unlocked. Keys in my hand. Outside, the street was empty, except for a trail of salt. It stretched all the way down to the intersection. And beyond that, I could see the Walmart sign. Only, it wasn't lit up in blue anymore. It was glowing pale yellow, like candlelight. The trail of salt led right to the doors. And in the glass, I saw my own reflection. Except it wasn't moving when I moved. It just smiled. I don't think I can fight it much longer. If you're hearing this, don't go to that Walmart. Don't even drive past it after dark. And if you dream of aisle 13, don't walk toward the doorway. Because it's open. And it's hungry. And once it sees you, you don't get to walk back out.